Hey, I've been doing Cinderella stories because who doesn't like a good Cinderella story? And this is a totally different version, and it's called Cinder Elly, and it takes place in New York City. So this is a different setting. Let's see if it has the same things that all Cinderellas have. Evil stepsisters, maybe a magic shoe, a fairy godmother, a handsome prince. There's always magic involved. Let's see. Cinder Elly by Frances Minters, illustrated by G. Brian Karras. Once upon a time, or so they tell me, there was a girl called Cinder Elly. Elly was good, and she was pretty. She lived with her folks in New York City. That girl was so good. With Mom and Dad and Sue and Nellie, her sisters were mean to Cinder Elly. When school let out, they'd watch TV. They'd ask Cinder Elly to serve iced tea. Or else they'd play a video game, but they never asked Elly to do the same. Sometimes when Elly was washing the floor, they'd slide across it and out the door. What do you think would happen then? Why, Elly would have to wash it again. Shocking. Elly cleaned up because she liked to be neat, from the hair on her head to the toes on her feet. She worked so hard, it was a pity she had no fun in New York City. Don't forget, Elly, things will be getting better soon. Oh, I like that little message. But then one day, Elle got a note. So did her sisters. Somebody wrote, "Sue, Elle, and Nellie, we picked your name. You've won free tickets to a basketball game." I told you things would get better. To Sue, Nellie, and Elly. "We accept with pleasure," said Sue and Nellie. "And I do too," said Cinder Elly. Her sisters just looked at her and smiled, and then they said, "You can't go, child." "Maybe I was wrong. But I'm invited. It says so here." "You're too young, Elly, and you've nothing to wear." "I'll shop," said Elly, "but you've got no money." Elly's mother agreed. "They're so right, honey. There's no money for 3, only money for 2. Let your sisters go, Elly. They're older than you." So Elly's big sisters went right out shopping, and Elly stayed home and did the mopping. Poor Cinder Elly. The night of the game, as Elle watched them go, an old lady came by and said, "Elly, hello." "Excuse me," said Elle, "but I know all the dangers. I'm never allowed to speak to strangers." "I'm your godmother, Elly. Don't you recognize me? Last time I saw you, you were just 2 or 3. Elly's grown a bit since then. "I'm here because we have things to do. Keep your eye on my cane. I've something for you." What could it be? She waved her cane once. Elle squealed like a flute. Her clothes had turned into a basketball suit. "And here's something else to go with your clothes. Glass sneakers," said Godma. "You'll need 2 of those. 1 for each foot." "Now wait, Godmother, hold on a minute. I was just watching the game. I don't want to be in it." "Oops," said the lady, "excuse my mistake. Let's see what else my cane can make." And poof, Elly wore a satiny shirt with a beautiful flowery red mini skirt. "You're looking great, Elle." Elly was happy because she looked so fine. "Now go to the game and have a good time." "Thank you, dear Godma. I'm glad that you came, but how am I going to get to the game?" "Oh, that's an easy one, dear. I've got a plan. I'll send you off in this old garbage can." "Oh, Godmother, please, people don't ride on garbage cans, do they?" She waved her cane and said, "Kerplunk." The garbage can became a bike. Elle got right on and almost fell off because riding a bike in glass sneakers is tough. "You'll be fine, Elle. I know that is true. There's just one thing I ask of you. Be home by 10, or else, my dear, your pretty clothes will disappear. Uh-oh. No problem, purred Elly, as sweet as a kitty, and she rode off through New York City. The game was just starting when Elle got to her seat. Out ran Prince Charming. People rose to their feet. So that's the famous Prince Charming, even has Prince on his shirt. Let's go, Prince Charming, Elle yelled with the rest. Of all of her school's players, Prince was the best. Prince was passing the ball, but he looked at the stands. Boom! Some huge guy knocked the ball from his hands. Elly stood on her toes and raised her arms fast. She caught that ball before it flew past. Hooray, yelled the crowd, except Sue and Nellie. The sisters just stared at Cinder Elly. Is that Elly? Asked Sue. No, that's a bad guess. She's older than Elly and much better dressed. Here's the ball, Elly shouted as she threw it up high. In the future, be careful. Thanks, miss, I'll try. The prince stared at Elly and said, Glad to meet you. After the game, let's go get some pizza. What's your name? He asked. I can't tell you, I fear, for Elle was afraid that her sisters might hear. When the game ended, the other side clapped. They were good sports, even though they got zapped. Will you wait for me, please? Prince stopped by Elle's chair. I'll shower and change and blow dry my hair. Elle stayed till the clock blinked. 9:58. In 2 more minutes, she would be late. She got up and ran. It's sad, but it's true. A lace came undone, and she lost a glass shoe. But she couldn't stop now, so she hurried on. All she saw was a trash can. Her bike was gone. I was afraid that would happen. Elly waved at the can and said, Kerplike! But the can wouldn't change back into a bike. Then she looked at her clothes. Oh no, they're the same as the ones I was wearing before Godmother came. She waved at her clothes. Poof, they didn't change either. Where's Godma, she wondered, now that I need her? Meanwhile, Prince Charming, looking pretty cool, was busy signing photos for the fans at school. When he was finished, he looked all about. Elly wasn't inside, so Prince went out. Outside he saw no one, just some girl who ran off down the street with a huge garbage can. But on the steps he spied one sparkly shoe. This sneaker, said Charming, gives me a clue. Why does Prince Charming need the shoe? I keep putting these little asides here. Next morning, Cinder Elly tried giving Prince a call, but his number wasn't listed in the book at all. At the same time, Charming sat at a table. He drew the sneaker as well as he was able. If you lost a sneaker, please telephone me. Prince Charming, 555-0009. Oh, he put up a sign. Beneath it, he wrote for all to see. If you lost this sneaker, please telephone me. Then he wrote his name and phone number too, and he went to the copy shop to print a few. Prince taped his copies once they were complete to every single lamppost on that busy street. Whoops, sorry about that. Many women phoned him with feet too big or small. Prince Charming wasn't happy. Won't the right one ever call? Hey gang, look out. There's Sue, there's Nellie, with the poster to show to Cinder Elly. Let's call up Prince, said Sue and Nellie. That's not your shoe, said Cinder Elly. Oh no, they said, but we'll try it. Since how else could we ever meet a real live prince? They phoned Prince Charming, and just as they planned, he dropped in to visit with the sneaker in hand. Prince was surprised by Nellie and Sue. He said, I don't remember either of you. Sue tried the shoe and fell down flat. Poor Sue, laughed Nell, your foot's too fat. Next Nellie tried and went into a tizzy. That shoe was so tight it made her feel dizzy. Serves them both right. Then Elly came out from where she'd been looking. Her sisters yelled, Elly, go back to your cooking. Cinder Elly sat down and put on the shoe. Then she took out the other one and put that one on too. Excuse me, called someone. May I come in? Please do, said Elly. Godma, where have you been? I've been busy, she answered, but I know my duty to see Cinder Elly and her friend Prince Cutie. Prince Charming, he corrected. Well, how do you do? It's time you saw Elly in the clothes that you knew. Poof, poof, she waved. Ellie's clothes became the ones she had worn to the basketball game. Yikes! Screamed the sisters. Shush, Godmother told them. You deserve a good scolding, and she started to scold them. You're forgiven, said Elly. I'm sure that you've seen that it's awfully wrong to be terribly mean. You're right, Cinder Elly, and we promise we know it. If we ever feel mean again, we just won't show it. Prince said to Elly, let's go spread the news. Wait, Prince, said Elly, till I change my shoes. They walked down the street, holding hands, pretty snappy, and everyone lived forever happy. I'm so glad everything turned out all right, aren't you? Oh. And that is a New York City version of Cinder Elly. I hope you enjoyed it.